I will repeat this message each day at the exact same time. We were caught inside time loop. Do not look at the clock. Your watches became useless. The only thing that matters.
What time is it, my friends? For me, it is to make a quick video in addition to my whole Apple ecosystem exploration. It will be a quick one. I want to give my opinion on Apple Watch, but in reality I want to talk about smartwatches in general, why it happened, and why we stuck in this situation. First of all, I have nothing bad to say about Apple smartwatches, maybe only build quality for the price is unbelievably bad. It is not durable, very vulnerable for damage, scratches, very bad materials, and designed for my taste is cheap, looks like basic fitness bracelet. And I experienced headaches with pairing Apple devices, because Apple forces you to upgrade, making older devices incompatible with newer firmware, so users cannot jailbreak their devices. I talked about it more in my Android user tries iPhone video. If you decided to use smartphone from Apple Corporation, you have no other options rather than these three. Very cheap but expensive price, cheap but very expensive price, and normal but ultra expensive price. UI is okay, animations are okay, it has nice feedback that I liked. There is basic set of apps that you expect on any smartwatches, gallery where you can look at your photos, compass, calendar, and so on. It has its own way of answering calls and notification, pinch the fingers, which was not so comfortable for me, even slightly painful when you tap fingers against each other. But overall, it behaves exactly like any other smartwatches on any other systems. The same functionality and the same problems. And no matter what device are you using, Windows Phone, joking by the way, Android, Apple. First of all, they cannot freaking work out of the box. You need a smartphone, sometimes with registered account and ID to pair them. Otherwise, they simply refuse to work. Just imagine, watches that cannot show time or do basic stuff like stopwatch can't work by its own. And I want to ask you a question. Why are you using smartwatches? And how are important so-called fitness and sport features for you? Because for me, it feels like this device becomes overcomplicated fitness bracelets. For me, smartwatches must be an extension of the smartphone, something that can free my hands, so I can operate my tasks without a phone. SMS and cellular calls, year after year, became almost useless. I am using only internet with online messenger apps, such as WhatsApp, Telegram, Viber, Signal. So, the most important feature for me is to answer messages, and even more important, calls on all these online messenger apps. And here is my biggest problem with all these devices, Apple and non-Apple. They just do not have a universal call answering methods and protocols. So no matter what app you have on your smartphone, if someone is calling you via these applications, smartwatches just have no way to understand that it is a call. Even more, some companies deliberately restrict the access of such apps to smartwatches calls. So these messengers need to have a specific app that you need to install on your smartwatches to get this basic and expected out-of-the-box functionality. And sometimes it does not work well, or there are just no apps for such messengers. Crazy stuff. So, the main and the most important feature of why I want smartwatches is totally missing and restricted. I cannot care less about these sport and fitness functions. Even more, I do not trust the data about calories and activity monitor. It is just an estimation that they sucked out of the finger. And I won't ever trust a health data such as sugar and oxygen in blood. It is just a nonsense. If I ever need this data, I will buy specialty, dedicated health devices that are built for that purposes and that need the blood samples. If I work out, I usually keep all my exercises in my head or inside my textbook. I am resting depending on situation. And why on earth do I need to rely on automatic tracking, reliability of which is questionable? I think it is just a toy that I played after the first time I bought smartwatches, and after that completely forgot about its existence. For training and results, you will never guess. Just train and repeat each day with good healthy food. That's all. Who would thought? And smartwatches have zero contribution in it. And tracking this data gives you zero impact. Just train, eat, sleep and be calm and happy. That's all. Maybe. Tracking footsteps is somewhat interesting, but modern smartphones can do it even without any smartwatches. And you see, I have already spent a large portion of this video talking about health, fitness and sport, which should not be the case inside the smartwatches. For me, this device is an extension of the smartphone, device for communication and networking, but not a freaking fitness bracelet. I wish smartphone manufacturers and operating system corporations stop this madness and give us an easy, open solution where any app with calls and potentially video calls can have easy access and communication with smartwatches, where I do not need to install any crutches and everything works out of the box. My previous device was Galaxy Watch 4 Classic that has 1 or 2 days of battery life. Now I try Vivo Watch 3 on Blue OS that has 2 weeks battery life. But on Android it is the same story. USA versus China pretend war affects us as users, divides Android even more, where not all devices work with Wear OS smartwatches operating system, that restricts functionality even more, where you can not only answer calls, but messages and notifications. And all these purely software artificial limitations that has nothing with very expensive hardware that you paid for. It is beyond stupid, beyond crazy madness in the technosphere of our life. And that's why I find myself using smartwatches less and less, sometimes completely leaving them at home, even when I work on my business or running as an exercise. I'm so uninspired of modern gadgets and feel myself caught in the stagnated time loop. And by the way, I did not even mention health damage and potential threats. Even if they are called wireless, it does not mean that it does not have ones. You just can't see the wires, but they are there, just only in non-solid state, going through the ether from one device to another, while still piercing through solid matter, concrete walls and flesh. We were told only about harm of radiation from alpha, beta, gamma rays, but no one is talking about radiation from cellular, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi devices, that by fact and definition radiates non-solid waves of energy, from which the solid world is created, as well as our brain, heart and other organs, as well as reproduction ones. But I won't talk openly about it here. YouTube is not happy about these topics. If you're talking about healing from herbal plants, about medicine, about stuff that is labeled as tinfoil hat conspiracy crazy theories, you can easily be shadow banned or even blocked, and I'm not a kamikaze. I'm just wondering, why in modern society we have so many diseases and massive infertility, where even young, from the first sight healthy families can't have children. But again, it is just a crazy conspiracy. I was not meant to talk about it, it is just a joke, YouTube moderators. Of course we won't believe in such crazy, unscientific nonsense. Hail the modern academy. So my friends, that's pretty much it. This is how I felt about Apple Watch inside my Apple ecosystem exploration. You can watch my other videos about Apple devices, where lifetime Windows and Android user unbox and tries Apple devices, as well as iPhone first time try and Bluetooth AirPods, where I discuss why I'm tired of wireless devices. I hope to meet you in another videos, and I'm wishing you a very cosmic time on your clock.